Yes. Uh. Yo. What it do, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious, aka Cover Boy, the Modern Marvel. That's right, you guys. We are going to finally get into the Quickfire review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. But before I get into that, well, screw that. I'll get to that at the end of the segment. But well, might as well get into it right now. So let's get this on and cracking. So pretty much, pretty much Spider-Man 2, Miles. Well, it's technically Spider-Man 2, but actually Spider-Man Miles Morales basically centers around Miles going through his little adventures while Peter is taking his leave of absence with Mary Jane. So pretty much he is Spider-Man for like 2 weeks. But even though it feels lesser time than that, but he gets into it with a couple of people, gets into it with Roxxon, gets into it with the underground, which honestly it's like a lot of people were giving it flack. A lot of people were giving it a flack a little bit because it doesn't really have many Spider-Man villains that are in Spidey's that are in Peter's like rogues gallery. And honestly, I feel like because since Miles Morales is his own character, he's not gonna have that same kind of notoriety that he would have being like somebody else's like villain. Like there's like I can't really see him being villains with Odo Octavius, who is Dr. Octopus, or even though he has the mantle of Spider-Man, but he's not the Spider-Man that's got in connection. And the thing is about most of the villains with Spider-Man, there's like a deep connection with, sometimes they're mostly connected to Peter Parker in some way. Either they went to school together, either they worked with or worked at the Bugle, the Daily Bugle, or he might know somebody who knows somebody. And there's a lot to it than just like, oh, well, he doesn't have the, Miles doesn't have the rogues gallery of, Peter's rogues gallery. I mean, now but they put Rhino in it, but it makes sense because Rhino was Rhino was in the first one when you had to do that little side mission with Miles in the first game. And, I could see the connection there. So, I actually like that. Like, Rhino was one of the main connections to, like, the link between the first one and Miles' story. So, that makes perfect sense. And then also you're seeing all the things that's going on with Miles' life. And I'm loving, like, the background, the music, how Harlem takes center stage, and it's actually pretty dope. I didn't mind. It was short, but but I actually liked how the price wasn't as expensive. How most games be like paying for like a half-ass done game, but they never finished it. They never finish it. So that's my whole thing. So, I don't mind it at all, especially when they're sitting here. I don't mind it at all when, like, the story was pretty much laid out very well. I like the emotional drama between, like, the stuff that goes on, like, between him and his mom, him and Finn, him and Geki, And then also you see a little surprises too that comes along, like Kingpin shows up, that he's still trying to get things back in order, you know while he's still sitting in prison. That was actually cool. So I mean, there's a lot of things to it that I didn't mind that at all. That was actually fun. I mean, and hell, and keep in mind, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I literally stopped playing just to play Miles Morales, and I literally got done with Miles Morales within like the week. And I mean, that's me going to like work and I think I've spent lesser time playing, beating the game this quick since I've gotten the PS4, honestly. Like, even when I got Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was one of the first games I've gotten. The first game that I purchased for the PlayStation 4 when I first got mine. So, and, it just didn't feel... I mean, of course, when you pick up the stick and then when you start doing all the things that Miles does, I mean, of course, it feels like Spider-Man because, the game says it's Spider-Man, but it feels a little different than the first one does. Like I said in my last podcast about Miles Morales, being a little different because he doesn't feel like he's that refined. Like when you play as Peter, he's been in the game for 8 years, so he feels more refined in his move set and his skills. So you're just literally playing a game to where like he's actually making moves and whatnot. So, but when you're actually playing the game as Miles, he doesn't feel as refined. Like, even in his swinging, you can hear the grunts, and that's dope. And I actually like that they, like, I appreciate the fact that they actually put in the fact that, like, he's still learning this stuff as he's going along. So, I mean, with the help of his boy Genki, when he's helping out on his missions, and I like how they have a Spider-Man app and whatnot, so he's kind of like doing like Ghostbusters, like who you gonna call Ghostbusters type stuff. Like, okay, you hit somebody on the app and you get these missions, and then you execute the mission. That's dope. I mean, there's a lot of things in this game that a lot of stuff that wasn't happening like that in the first one. So it feels a lot different, even though it feels similar, but it's a little different. Like, even with his venom sting, like his bioelectricity, I mean, it feels different than how most of the moveset that you would play with Peter in the first one. But it looks similar. I mean, it looks similar. It looks great. Storyline was off the hook. I mean, and it feels... And then also, I would like to say, like, the costume arrangements in this one, like, the costumes that Miles gets in his game looks way better than the ones Peter had in his game. And if you, like, do a comparison by, do a side-by-side, honestly, I feel like Peter's costumes and everything doesn't really look as good. Even though I liked Miles, because they're more of a offset of what he originally wears anyway, but I do like the fact that, like, if he rocks like the gym trunks with the hoodie and whatnot, and then the Crimson Cow costume and the tracksuit looks good. In the 2099 Miles Morales tracksuit, the costume looks dope as hell too, and that was one of the main costumes I was actually rocking in the game. So, but overall, I mean, and keep in mind, No Peter Parker showed up to save the day, nothing like that. And I like the fact that he had to learn all of these things that's going on his own. Then also the fact that like the torment, the emotional strings that gets pulled with the fact that like him wanting to be connected to his Uncle Aaron, who also is the Prowler. And it's like, damn. And even the fight scene and the fight scenes in the game is off the hook. The main fights that I like the most definitely has to be the one with the Prowler and Miles and the Prowler. So that is one of the fights I actually enjoy getting down and playing as. And the last fight in the end is just like off the hook. So I mean, as short as the game was, it wasn't bad. I mean, I fairly enjoyed myself for a price of $49.99. I mean, and it didn't really break the bank. I mean, a top tier game like that coming out, I mean, I think they rushed it due to the fact that they had to get something out for the PlayStation 5. And of course at this time, you know, with everything that's been going on, of course they kind of rushed it just to see, like, just to get it out in enough time. Because like I said, between the first one and this one, the first one seems a bit more polished and more detailed in most of the actions and the setting, and it doesn't feel as rushed. But like it took like it had time to develop for the first one. But the second one wasn't bad at all. Like, I think if anything, it feels more like a continuation of the first game, but now you're just playing as Miles compared to just playing with Peter. But it's still a dope game. So I mean, honestly, I'm gonna give this game honestly a solid 9.5, because I mean, of course, there's still some flaws. There were still some hiccups in the game. No game is perfect, but I mean, but from where it is and for what it's worth, and I'm pretty sure they're definitely gonna have DLC available pretty soon. It won't take that long, I'm pretty sure, because even for the first game, like for the three, for like Silver Lion, the ones with Black Cat, Hammerhead, and Silver Sable, they had the game. Most of the content was out, and it was flush with the story in the game, so it didn't feel all alienated and isolated from the main story. So, but overall, like I said, I give the game a good solid 9.5. I mean, it would be more, but maybe I mean, but for what they were doing, I feel like they were really Sony and Insomniac was really playing it safe. So they were playing it safe, and honestly, I'd rather err on the side of caution, but just to play it safe so nobody really like falls short. And I mean, like I said, and a lot of people give flack for Miles's voice, but keep in mind he's still a kid, so he's not gonna be all. I actually like the voice acting in the game. It was dope. Everything worked, and I'm happy to actually. Well, I'm actually was happy for what I experienced in the game. So either way, you guys, this is the Quickfire review on Late for the Party on Anchor FM and the YouTube channel. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, and support the podcast, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, you could check out the Late for the Party store on Teespring.com. Also, if you become a supporter of the podcast, you will get a free t-shirt on me personally, and also if you are a recurring supporter of the podcast, you will get you will get a t-shirt every 6 months for the first year. So that's three items, you guys. So either way, the link will be in the description once I upload everything to my social media. So either way, I am your host, Melodious, aka Coverboy, the Modern Marvel, signing off. And as always, if you're going to be late for the party, turn it up to 11.